The room was quiet. Only the soft hum of the ship's engine filled the silence. Arixa sat near the metal wall, her knees pulled to her chest. Her skin shimmered faintly in the dim light, a soft silver glow that was natural for her species. She was beautiful, young, and healthy. And still, the human never came near her. She looked across the room. Eli Carter sat at the control table, his eyes fixed on the screen, ignoring her completely. 3 days ago, she was presented to him as a peace offering. Her people, the Zellari, had gifted her to the human as part of a treaty between species. Arixa didn't understand everything, but the elders told her one thing. You are his now. Serve him, and he will protect you. But he never looked at her, never touched her, never even spoke a word. Is something wrong with me, human? She asked softly. Eli didn't reply. She tried again, louder this time. You haven't mated me since they gave me to you? He paused, fingers still over the screen. A quiet breath escaped him, but he didn't turn. I don't want a mate, he said, voice cold. Arixa tilted her head. Her dark eyes sparkled under the glow light. Then, why did you accept me? I didn't, he said. The council forced me. Arixa didn't know what to say. Her heart sank. She wasn't angry, just confused. The humans and the Zellari had fought for over a decade. Then peace talks started. The treaty was strange, with old traditions added by alien minds. Each human officer was given a gift. And she was one of them. Back home, being chosen as a gift was an honor. She was trained, prepared, and told to make her human happy. But Eli? He didn't even look at her. Later that night, she wandered the halls of the ship alone. The doors opened when she approached. They had been coded to accept her presence. The ship was large but silent. She passed the empty dining room, the medbay, the engine core, until she reached the captain's quarters. Eli's room. The door was half open. She paused. She knew she shouldn't enter, but something inside pulled her closer. She stepped in slowly. The lights were low. On the wall, she saw something strange. Pictures. One of them showed a woman, not human. Her skin was blue, eyes golden, hair long and white. She was smiling. In the next photo, she was holding hands with Eli. Arixa stared. The woman looked so much like her. That's why he couldn't look at her. She reminded him of someone he lost. A voice startled her. Get out. Eli was standing at the doorway, eyes locked on her. Arixa bowed her head. I'm sorry. I said get out, he repeated. This isn't your place. She walked past him silently and returned to her small corner cabin. She didn't cry Zellari, didn't cry like humans did. But inside, her heart felt heavy. The next morning, Eli set a tray of food near her door. No words, no eye contact. Just silence. She picked up the tray, stared at the food, and whispered, I'm not here just to sit in silence, human. Far beyond the ship, a small blinking light appeared on a screen. Unknown vessel detected. Unregistered ID. No communication. No known origin. Eli stared at it. The ship was following them, staying just far enough to avoid direct contact. His eyes narrowed. He had accepted the gift only to avoid punishment. But now, something was wrong. Something was watching. And Arixa? Maybe she was not just a gift after all. The next day, Arixa didn't eat. She left the food untouched and sat near the window of her small cabin. Outside, stars drifted slowly in the black sea of space. But her eyes weren't watching the stars. They were watching her reflection. She placed a hand on the glass. They told me humans were warm, that they would hold you close. But all he gives me is silence. Eli sat in the command deck. His eyes were locked on a flashing red dot on the scanner. The unknown ship was still behind them, always the same distance. Never getting closer, never sending a signal dot. It was a ghost. A ship that didn't belong to any known fleet. Not human. Not Selari. He felt something twist in his gut. He tapped the console. Auto defense standby mode. Don't fire unless fired upon. But deep down, he felt this wasn't just a scout ship dot. It was here for her. That night, Arixa wandered again. Not to explore this time, but to find him. She stopped at the engineering bay. The door was open, and inside, Eli was sitting on the floor, working on a panel. Sparks flew as he adjusted wires. She walked closer, quiet like a breeze. "You don't sleep much, do you?" He didn't answer. "You don't talk either." "But I can still hear you, human. Even your silence. It screams." Eli sighed. "What do you want, Arixa?" She knelt beside him, gently, to understand. "Why am I here if you don't want me?" He looked up, eyes tired. "You want truth?" She nodded. "I lost someone. Someone who looked like you." Arixa stayed silent. She was Zelari too, Eli continued. "But not a gift. She was my partner. My equal. She died in a battle we should have never fought." His voice cracked. "I buried her on a frozen moon. She sang to me every night. And now, when I look at you, same eyes, same voice, same glow, I feel like I'm breaking all over again." Arixa's lips trembled. "I'm not her. I know," he said. "That's why it hurts." A sudden alarm echoed through the ship. A low pulsing sound. Eli jumped to his feet. The screen above the console lit up with a message. Incoming transmission source. Unknown nitrogen monoxide language. Detected nitrogen monoxide. AUDIO code. ARCS-7 Eli single quotes S heart stopped. Arcs was the beginning of her. Named out, he turned to Arixa slowly. "Is that your code name?" She blinked. "What's a code name?" He walked toward her. "Did the council ever give you a name before Arixa?" She looked down. "They used to call me 7. Eli froze. She wasn't just a peace offering. She was part of a program. Arixa suddenly grabbed her head. "Something's wrong," she whispered. "A sound in my mind. It's calling me. It hurts." Eli caught her before she collapsed. Her body was warm. Too warm. A faint glow pulsed under her skin, invisible veins of light, like circuitry. "She's not just a girl," Eli said to himself. "She's a weapon. Or worse, a key." He lifted her in his arms and rushed to the medbay. Her body twitched gently, like something was waking inside her. The screen above her bed blinked. Unknown energy signature detected source. Internal warning. Activation INCOMP LT Eli. Looked at her glowing face. She was unconscious, but tears were falling. And then she whispered in her sleep, "Don't let them take me, human. Please." He reached out and held her hand for the first time. "I won't." The silent ship behind them began to move. Its engines flared. It was coming closer now. No more hiding. Asterisk. The medbay was silent. Arixa lay on the bed, her skin still glowing faintly. Strange symbols began to appear across her arms like alien runes written in light. Eli stood beside her, watching the monitor blink with warnings he didn't understand. Unknown. Energy surge origin. Zelari class biocode 7 recommendation. Contain or de-icin. Didn't move away. He held her hand tightly. She woke with a gasp. Her chest rose quickly, her eyes wide with fear. "The voices," she whispered. "They were calling me again. But it's louder now." Eli knelt beside her. "Who's calling you, Arixa?" "I don't know," she said, tears in her eyes. "But they sound like you?" She nodded. Like there are others. And they're scared. Before he could answer, the alarm rang again. Ship approaching range, 5,000 km. NO signal. Nitrogen monoxide IFF. Nitrogen monoxide peace code. Eli rushed to the control room. The strange ship that had been following them was now closing in. It was massive, twice the size of theirs. Black in color, with no windows, no lights, no life signs. And then it sent a signal, but not in human language. Not in XELAR. It was in Arix's voice. Return the asset. Return ARX-7. Termination sequence active if transfer fails. Eli's stomach turned. They don't even call her a person, he whispered. Just an asset. Arixa walked into the control room, her glow now steady. Her eyes weren't scared anymore. They were calm, like someone who had finally remembered something long forgotten. I know what I am now, she said quietly. Eli turned to her. Tell me, I was not born like others. I was made. Grown in a facility under Zalari command. One of the 7. 7 what? 7 keys, she said, to open something ancient. Something even the Zalari fear. Eli stared at her, stunned. I wasn't given to you to bring peace, she continued. I was given to you to be hidden. Because if they knew where I was, they'd come for me, just like they're doing now. She looked up at the screen. The black ship was still approaching, silent and slow like a monster in the dark. They've found me. Eli walked over to the console. He activated the defensive grid, then turned back to her. I don't care what they call you. I don't care what they made you for. He walked closer. I care about what you choose now. Arixa stared at him. Her eyes trembled. You're the first one who ever asked me that, she said. And then she touched his chest. Not in fear, not in need, but in trust. A soft shock passed through Eli's body. Suddenly, the screen lit up with a new message. Biometric bond confirmed. ARX-7 locked to subject. Human ID Carter. Eli. What did you just do? He asked. Arixa blinked. I don't know. I just felt something. Like you were the only one who could stop what's coming. The enemy ship sent another message, but this time Eli's ship responded automatically. A blue shield pulsed around them, and a deep energy hum filled the control deck. Panels shifted. The ship changed. Defense mode unlocked. Primary pilot. ARX-7 plus linked. Aishuan Ainlai turned to her, half shocked, half amazed. You unlocked the ship? She looked down at her hands. No, she said. We did. Outside, the black enemy ship launched its first attack. Plasma bolts lit up the space between them. But Eli's ship, now glowing blue with ancient energy, blocked every shot. They didn't run. They stood and fought. For the first time since she was given, Arixa didn't feel like a gift. She felt like she had chosen someone. And more importantly, someone had chosen her back. The enemy ship didn't stop. It moved like a black shadow through space, silent, massive, hungry. Inside Eli's ship, the new systems were glowing. Panels pulsed blue with light. The screens no longer showed human commands. They showed something older, something alien. Arixa stood at the center of the control room. Symbols moved across her skin like waves. Her voice had changed too. It was calmer, deeper, stronger. Eli looked at her carefully. What are you now? She didn't answer right away. She closed her eyes and touched the main console with her fingertips, and the ship obeyed. The engines shifted. Shields tightened. Weapons activated automatically. I think, she said slowly, I was never meant to be a person. She turned to face him. I was meant to be a switch. Eli frowned. What kind of switch? A living one. A lock they could control. Something designed to activate the ship you're standing in now. This is not just a Terran ship. This is ancient. Tech, hybrid, part human, part something older. Eli looked at the walls. He'd always wondered why this ship had systems even Terran engineers couldn't fully understand. Now it made sense. This wasn't a ship, Dot. It was a test platform. And Arixa was the key. But the question is, Eli said, why me? Why not link you to a soldier or a commander? Arixa looked down. Because the ship only responds to two things, my code and real emotion. What? The bond that powers it has to be real. No lies, no commands, just trust. Eli stared at her, Dot, and for the first time, he didn't feel confused. He felt honored. You think I trust you? I know you do. You didn't sell me. You didn't send me back. You never touched me. Because you were afraid to hurt me. She stepped closer. And now that respect, that care is unlocking everything. Suddenly, an alert blared. Enemy ship activating boarding sequence 30 seconds to Sionti Telai. Grabbed a sidearm and looked at her. I won't let them take you. Arixa didn't move. Instead, she placed both hands on the ship's glowing core behind the command seat. Let me show you what they really gave you, Eli. She whispered a single word in Zilari. The room pulsed. The walls rippled like water. And then the ship changed. Panels opened. Armor plates shifted. A giant weapon emerged from under the hull. Planet-class cannon Orcs prototype, unlocked energy charge, 72%. Eli's jaw dropped. This ship can destroy worlds. Arixa nodded slowly. That's what I was made for. They wanted to use me to open this power, to force the humans to obey. But something changed. What changed? He asked. I met you. The enemy ship connected to their hull. A loud clang shook the deck. Boots were heard clanging on metal. Soldiers were coming. Arixa turned to Eli, eyes glowing bright silver. If they take me now, they'll use me too. Start a war again. Eli stepped closer. Then we don't let them take you. The door burst open. 3 armored invaders stormed in. But before Eli could fire, Arixa raised her hand. A pulse of energy pushed all 3 men backward hard. Their weapons melted in mid-air. Arixa was breathing heavily now. Her voice echoed. I'm not a gift. I'm not a weapon. She turned to Eli. I am a choice. And I choose to stay with you. Outside, the enemy ship started retreating. It knew what just happened. She had fully awakened. The ship belonged to her now, and to the one she trusted. The two together were unstoppable. Eli looked at her, stunned. You could have destroyed them. She shook her head. No, I'm tired of being used for war. But you're a weapon, he said. She smiled softly. Not anymore. I'm someone now. The ship floated in silence. The enemy had retreated. No more threats, no more alarms. But inside, everything had changed. Arixa stood quietly in the command room, her body dimly glowing now. Not from fear, not from programming, but from something new. Eli watched her, still holding his weapon loosely by his side. You saved me, he said. She turned slowly. You saved me first. He smiled, just a little. I didn't do anything. Yes, you did, she whispered. You waited. You listened. You let me be. Arixa walked closer. They made me in a lab, taught me to follow, programmed me to serve. But you never treated me like a tool. You treated me like... She stopped. Eli said nothing, but the silence between them was louder than words. The ship's AMI voice echoed. Automated data recovery complete, displaying origin log. ARX7 without command. The screen lit up. A video began to play, blurry, old, and in the Zilari language. Scientists in long robes stood around a glowing pod. Inside it was Arixa, just a child, floating in stasis. A voice spoke. Arcs -7, last of the experimental units. Designed not just to activate weaponry, but to feel. Emotion linked to command protocols. Risk. Attachment to targets. Then another. Voice colder. Destroy the others. This one is the only one that shows signs of bonding with a Terran subject. Eli's eyes widened. Bonding with a Terran? The screen zoomed in. It was an old photo dot of him, younger, injured, lying on a field hospital bed dot, and beside him, a smaller version of Arixa. Her hand holding his dot. Eli took a step back. That's not possible. I don't remember this. Arixa touched her chest. But I do. I was just a soldier, Eli muttered. I was told I blacked out during that mission. They said there were no survivors on that world. There was one, Arixa said. You. She walked closer. I was just a child then. I didn't know what love meant. But I knew what safety felt like. When I touched your hand, I stopped being afraid. She looked up into his eyes. Maybe. We were never meant to love, Eli. Maybe we were just test subjects in someone's war game. She stepped even closer. But we chose to feel. And that makes us dangerous to them. Eli's voice cracked. They planned this all along. They put you back in my path. No, Arixa said. They tried to erase me after I bonded with you, but I escaped. The other 6 weren't so lucky. She sat down beside the glowing core of the ship. They think love is weakness. She said, that caring makes you soft. Eli sat across from her. But they're wrong, he said. Love is dangerous because it makes you fight harder. Not for orders, not for flags, but for people. A quiet moment passed between them. Outside, space seemed calm, but both of them knew it wouldn't last. The High Council would return. They'd never let Arixa live now. Not after she bonded on her own. Not after she became free. Eli leaned forward. We have a choice now? To run? She asked. To run, or to reveal the truth, he said. About everything. The experiments. The war. You. She looked down at her hands. Will they believe us? I don't know, he said. But they'll believe this ship, and they'll believe you. She smiled softly. And we don't hide anymore. Eli reached out and gently took her hand this time, without fear. And she didn't glow because of code. She glowed because, for the first time, she was fully alive. Asterisk, the stars were quiet. But the silence wouldn't last. Eli stood at the center of the command deck, his hand resting beside Arix's. Their bond, once forced by politics, was now real, deep, unbreakable. The ship no longer needed codes or commands. It responded to their connection, and the galaxy was about to see it. Multiple ships approaching, the AI warned. Zelari Council Fleet, 9 vessels, 1 command ship. Eli turned to Arixa. This is it, she nodded. They're not just here to destroy me. They're here to erase the truth. On the screen, a call came in, the face of Zelari High. Commander filled the room. Cold eyes, no emotion. Return the prototype immediately, or we will erase your entire vessel. Eli stepped forward. She's not a prototype. She's not a thing. Arixa raised her head. Her voice was calm. You gave me away as a gift, but I gave myself a purpose, and I won't return to chains. The commander's tone sharpened. You were built to obey, not to love. Arixa smiled, just a little. Then you failed? The call ended. On the radar, all 9 ships began charging weapons. Arixa looked at Eli. If we use the cannon, we can stop them. But it will kill thousands, Eli said. Even the ones who don't know the truth. They stood in silence. And then Arixa did something strange. She walked to the ship's core, placed her hands on the glowing interface, closed her eyes. "Trust me," she whispered. A new light spread through the ship, a golden pulse, gentle but powerful dot, and then one by one, the enemy ships began to stop. Their weapons shut down, engines powered off. Screens on the bridge flickered. Then they received a message, not words, not commands, but a memory of Arixa's pain, of the day she was made, of the others who didn't survive, of the child she used to be. Locked in a pod, dreaming of freedom, that Eli watched in awe. "What are you doing?" "I'm not fighting them," she said softly. "I'm showing them who I really am." On the Zelari command ship, crew members dropped their weapons. Some fell to their knees. Some cried. The truth hit harder than any cannon. Arixa turned to Eli. Her voice was shaking. "I don't want to win with destruction. I want to win with choice." Moments later, a call came in again. This time, a different Zelari appeared. A female commander, tears in her eyes. We didn't know. We were told you were just a system, but you're alive. You feel." Arixa nodded. "Then speak your truth. Show the galaxy what they did to us." The Zelari Council withdrew, not out of fear, but out of shame. Later, Eli and Arixa sat near the window, watching the stars drift by. "I used to think silence was your answer," she said, "and I used to think I wasn't strong enough to touch." "You?" he replied. She looked at him gently. "But you touched my soul, Eli, not my skin." Across the galaxy, transmissions spread. Video footage, lab logs, project files. All exposing the gift program. Worlds began to question everything, and a movement began. The Freedom Pact, a promise that no living being, human, alien, or hybrid, would ever be treated like property again. Arixa and Eli didn't. Returned to Earth or Zelari space, they became wanderers. Messengers of truth. Together. No longer a gift and a soldier. Just two souls who chose each other. Asterisk.